Land dispossession is at the heart of all of this loss in the women's stories. And that dispossession underwrites other losses that they suffered as a result. For instance, they don't any longer in the village have the space to grow sorghum, which is the indigenous local grain of Southern Africa, and it requires very extensive areas to grow enough for a season, and they don't have that space anymore. They tie the nutrition crises that resulted in the founding of their farm in the early 90s. They tie those nutrition crises to the loss of the large farms. Our food was so good, Flora Michele says. Now, even a 5-year-old child can be old from eating the food from the fridge. A whole variety of other diseases that have become much more common in recent years with a sedentary life and so on, high blood pressure, diabetes, cancer, asthma, stroke, all of these much more common than in the past. And all of these, the women called diseases of the lines, diseases that resulted from the loss of the healthy life in the countryside. They don't make quite such a direct link between villagization, forced movement into the village, and the epidemic, the pandemic of HIV/AIDS that has had such an impact in their communities. But they make an indirect link between villagization and HIV/AIDS. We lost our culture and our traditions when we moved here, Mihlava says. Sarah says the spread of HIV is mainly rooted in poverty, in the spread of poverty. It's because of hunger, Sarah says. Nitavini agrees that what she refers to as a decline in morality, a rise in risky sexual behavior and criminal behavior more generally are happening because we're poor. Our kids aren't working. And Mitavini goes on to say, if only they had the opportunity to get a job, they would grab it with both hands. So the shift to the lines, the shift to the village space foreclosed all kinds of options for flourishing and for autonomy for these women and their households. All we could do was work for white farmers, Mijaji says. We didn't have the expansive land for farms of our own anymore. All we could do was work for white farmers, pick tomatoes. We didn't know that, and here she refers to the early 90s when their communal farm was set up. We didn't know that a good government would come and give us a farm where we could plant and grow. And here she's referring to the local chief who succeeded Gagesha, supported by the provincial Department of Agriculture in the transition period from apartheid to democratic government in 1994. In that brief transition period, which was a period of great tumult and upheaval, nevertheless, the government saw fit to grant the women a large expanse of land, 6 hectares, and a borehole well where they could set up a vegetable project to meet the needs, the nutrition needs of their community and their own employment needs.